So today I have the pleasure of interviewing a player who's represented India at the international level. He has 150 T20s worth of experience, taking 182 wickets along the way at a very respectable economy rate of 8 runs per over. He's set to play a key role for the Rajasthan Royals push for the playoffs in the upcoming second phase of IPL 2021. Jaydev Unadkat, thank you so much for your time today. Welcome to the CricBlog Podcast.
Hey, thank you. It's a pleasure.
No, it's a pleasure. Just on a personal note, how's your preparation been? Without any top-level cricket since the first half of IPL, how have you been staying match fit and bowling with a match intensity?
Well, it's always difficult to match the intensity of a game. But having said, I think, after playing for 10 years in the professional circuit, you know what things you need to do to be match fit. And I wanted to work on a few things, and I was setting some small-term goals for myself, and that was actually helping me to get that intensity going. And it always helps basically when you have some goal to achieve, be it a short-term or long-term. So then it was a phase where I want to work on something, and I think I did pretty. So hopefully the results will come out soon.
So one of the things, you were working on, I saw that you recently changed your bowling action or spoke about changing your bowling action. Can you sort of provide some details as to what that was?
Yeah, well, even I read that, and it's a very broader term, to be honest. Changing a bowling action doesn't really mean that, there are visible changes, if I may say, because it's not going to change visibly. I mean, you got to do things which are natural to you, and my bowling action is natural to me. But then what I meant there is, changing a few technical aspects in it. Maybe, so one of it probably is the back foot landing, which I wanted to align with the front foot landing. I wanted to use my hips, the hip drive more into the bowling, which can provide me a little more force into the bowling. So those are technical terms, and they might not be visible in what you do, but then they really help you to be consistent and to be doing what you want to out there on the field.
Yeah, fantastic. You see there's so much more to bowling than just what you see on the first sight. A ground like Sharjah now, just moving towards, the UAE and IPL coming up, a ground like Sharjah, very tough for bowlers, as are Dubai and Abu Dhabi when the pitches are flat. What's your mindset, like before you step out on a field when you're about to bowl on a flat pitch against world-class players?
So I think it's no different to a lot of grounds that we play in India, to be honest. And to playing on flat pitches is something that we are imbibed in naturally. Coming from India, that's what we do day in and day out. So that's not at all, I would say. But having said that, if you're playing on a smaller ground, you got to be aware that every ball is an important event, because even if you get hit for a couple of sixes at an over, if you get the next 4 balls on target, I think you've done a fairly good job for your team, because what batsmen target in a smaller ground is big overs, those big hits. So it then comes down to, how much of those big hits can you save? So as I said previously, I think it's not about, bowling differently when the grounds are smaller, or it's not about having a different mindset. But yes, it is about having that approach where you don't really get bogged down even if you get hit for a couple of sixes. You got to believe that maybe a bad ball, it's just that the batsmen have a little more freedom here to go all over you, and that's fine. I mean, if you can come back stronger. So the need of coming back stronger inside and over is a little more in smaller grounds than compared to the other ones, maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense. So do you have a different plan against different players when, before a match? Are you sort of someone who, likes to thoroughly prepare before a match, analyze a particular batsman's strengths and weaknesses?
Well, not very thoroughly, to be honest. I do have plans for certain batsmen. I also have a lot of belief on my strengths. So at times, there are days when I just try to stick to my strength. Things that work for me on that particular day, I try to stick to that, even if I would have planned differently for that batsman before the game. But if something for me on that particular day, you got to be spontaneous. And that's one thing that I have learned over the course of my career, especially in a T20 game. You have to be very spontaneous out there on the field, studying the conditions, studying the pitch, and studying yourself, what I'll be able to do on a certain day, I might not be able to do on a different day. But that's what it is. I got to find that balance in my own game, and that's what I try to do probably in every game that I play.
So is that something you've sort of learned over your career? It's the importance of staying calm even against the storm where people are going after you?
Absolutely. I think that's one thing that I would really want to get better and better. But yes, I have learned in this format of the game.
Yeah. So in terms of the Royals, you guys are just 2 points outside the top 4 at the moment, 4 points away from the top 2. What is the mood like in the Royals camp at the moment?
Overall, I think we played good cricket in the first half, if I can say that. And the table is very close. I don't see it that way, to be honest, that we are placed 5th. Or the team which is placed 7th is equal to the team which is placed 3rd or 4th, I would say, because everyone is in the competition. So it's a wide open tournament. What matters is, come the game times, I think we got to be putting our foot on the pedal right from game 1, because now we don't have 14 games like we do at the start of the tournament every year. So we just have 7 games. And if we have 2 bad games, I think that can really hamper our chances in this year's tournament. So I think that will be really important, to put our foot on the pedal right from game 1, not to be even a little complacent in that.
So it's a great point, like the importance of, taking advantage of your opportunities, not dropping games. So how do you guys do that without Ben Stokes, Joss Buttler, Jofra Archer this time around? That's going to be quite the challenge because they're 3 great players. Is there a lot of focus on these 3 players, and how do you sort of replace them in a way?
To be honest, see, in every IPL team at the moment, you have great players sitting out, and so did we. I think players of the caliber of, say, Liam Livingstone or David Miller were sitting out when these guys were playing. And not taking away anything from those guys, they have done fantastically well for the franchise in the past years. But as I said, there are guys who can be equally destructive, equally important to the team when it comes to playing that role. And I don't think there's any sort of talks going on around where we can't be the best team still in, because there's like replacement for the best in the world at the moment. That's how the cricket scene is at the moment, and that's how our team is shaping up, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. And you look at the form of Liam Livingstone recently, it's been outstanding. So it could be a massive asset. So, I read that, you're working closely with a youngster like Chetan Sakaria. He said you play a key role in boosting his confidence. What kind of advice do you give him, and how do you also, what impresses you about him?
Well, I think he comes from the same state that I play for. I lead my team there, and he made his debut under me. So I know quite a fair bit about him. And that actually helps me to, at times, tell him certain things when he sort of asks me about it. And that's what I did when I was a youngster. I used to look forward to some sort of advice from the seniors, even if I don't ask for it. But if the seniors are, open with you, and if they feel something about you, if they tell you something, it helps to boost your confidence. So I think that's my role to play now. And I make sure that I do it whenever he needs it or whenever someone else needs it. And he's a hardworking guy. He has got a lot of dedication for his game, and he knows what all work he has to put in to be at this level. So that's what you need from a player who has that caliber, who has that ability. and I'm sure that he'll get better with time.
Fantastic. And from a personal perspective, what are you aiming to get out of this second leg of the IPL?
Nothing different from what I was aiming for in the first leg. To win games for the team, to provide those early breakthroughs, the role that I was for in the first leg, and that's going to be the same, just with a lot more zeal and a lot more motivation, I would say, because having not got game time the last 3 months actually now makes me more hungrier to go out there and perform.
Yeah.
Going to be one of the factors which will actually help me to be more motivated, more focused on my game, hopefully.
And finally, I just want to touch on the great performance by India in the test match. What impresses you about that team? Because I was up last night here, Sydney time, watching it right through to the end late at night, and I was so impressed with the bowling performance.
Absolutely.
I'm lost for words for how good they're going. What do you say about this India team?
I think it must have been worth for you as well to be awake at that time and watching the game, because it was that great. What impresses me the most is obviously their ability to sort of carve a way through from any situation. Did that in the past 1 year from a lot of difficult situations, and that's what actually describes a great team. They have players who can win games from any point of situation in a game, and it can be nothing like that if everyone in the team is capable of doing that. So it was great to see how they came back in this test match and won the game convincingly at the end.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch. Jaydev Unadkat, I wish you all the best for the upcoming season. I thank you so much for your time today. It was great chatting with you.
It was great chatting with you as well, Charbel. Thank you.